Hello and welcome to the Film Whisperers here on Ben TV, where two movie nerds talk all things film with a contemporary lens. My name is Sarge.
I'm Alice.
Alice, we have an interesting topic. I mean, we always have interesting topics, but
let's hope it's interesting
yeah,
this week. But yeah, you came out with it. What was it?
I thought it would be good for us to unpack films that have had a real life impact or implication on situations in society, on us.
So personal, so at the macro and the micro level.
Yeah.
And what made you think of this topic?
This week I saw a documentary about Jaws because it is the 50th anniversary of this film being released.
Wow.
And one of the topics that they discussed was how it impacted people and their visits to the beach. And it said how people were afraid of going to the beach after this film. And then that got me thinking, how many other films do you reckon exist that have that real life impact on people? And then I got to thinking of what films have had an impact on me. And it's really hard to just pinpoint one or two and go, it's this film, or I do this because of this film. But I think there is that broader impact at maybe at a macro level that we may not understand, because subconsciously watching a film has made us do things in a different way or think of things in a certain way. So I thought it would be a good thing to unpack.
Yeah, cool. Okay. First of all, let's just talk about Jaws.
Yes.
Did that make you scared to go in the water? When did you first watch it?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have been a teenager. Did I get scared? No. And I also think that the problem with a film like Jaws that is, I would call it, it's almost mega famous, right?
Yeah.
The score sort of took away the scare for me, because by the time I saw it, everyone knew the dun 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 dun, and you know, it became humorous almost when I saw it.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get scared with Jaws. However, there was another film, and I'm guessing I wasn't around in the 70s, but I'm guessing the 70s had this weird thing with films about human eating fish. But there's a film called Piranhas.
Okay. Yeah.
So a similar thing, piranhas eat humans. I remember seeing Piranha as a kid and feeling a bit weird going into the water because unlike Jaws, where you would see a shark coming in because of their fin, with a piranha they're quite tiny, so you couldn't really see them, and you'd just be, the way the film shows what a piranha does is, you're just standing in the water, and next thing you know, a group of piranhas come and just eat you up. So I think that made me a bit scared.
Okay.
So that had a bigger impact on me as opposed to Jaws.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was always scared of sharks. I don't remember watching the film till I was a teenager, but I was definitely scared of sharks. And I think that was because I was the youngest and I just got teased. And my pa, who was a lifesaver, by the way, he would always joke and say, no, there's no sharks, crocodiles ate them all, or something like that, like when he'd take me to the beach, because that was his joke. But yeah, it scared me. So I was already...
Hang on. You also grew up in a beach town.
Yeah.
Right? You grew up in Sydney.
Yeah, well, along the coast, East Coast, up and down.
So beach was part of your childhood.
Yeah.
So that sort of exacerbates that fear, doesn't it?
I guess, but even when I was in a pool, I would be scared of sharks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever had that. It's a stupid, childish fear, but yeah, I was always like, oh, there could be a shark in this pool. This above ground pool in suburbia. But so I think I've just always been scared. Maybe I did see it as a kid and I don't remember it. I just needed to mention, when you're talking about the sharks versus piranhas, just to stuff you up a little bit, you probably won't see the shark, because the shark will come from below to get you. Like they do come around like that, but like if he's like coming for you, he's probably going to come from below and you're not going to see it. Talking about Jaws though, it did affect people in general, right? It was a big... it was a huge impact on people's fear of going in the water, for better or for worse. What are other horror films, do you think, that has affected that? Because I think horror films have made these big impacts on people about what they're scared of, but then I think also it's a reflection of what people are scared of at the time by what type of films are made. So it kind of goes back and forth a bit. I've got a few which have affected me. So I'm just talking selfishly. The Ring, and I don't think I was the only one that was like really scared by The Ring, the American, 2002, 2001 remake. That like really, really scared me. Like I couldn't have a TV left blank. I had to have it on if it was in the room. I had one in my bedroom and I had to have it on. And I was just so scared that some little girls was going to crawl out of the TV and kill me some way, like just by like shock, by just looking at me. You have any horror films like that?
Yeah, The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Oh yeah, we've talked about this.
But that was because of my Catholic upbringing.
But that one really scared people. That was another thing that like scared many, many people. I wonder if it scared them religious.
Because, well, I mean...
Or they were just scared because they were religious.
Well, America is a bit of a very religious country anyway.
Yeah.
So I think when we talk about like how much it scared, like you could just imagine how a lot of Americans sort of felt, being Christian, Catholic, whatever, to have seen a film about what the devil can do would have really freaked them out. And I think that's what impacted me. And for a long time after I saw it, and to be honest, I was 10 when I saw it and I was probably too young to have seen it. I definitely was worried that, there's a devil in the house, or it's this weird sense of, I guess it was what's the word I'm looking for? Irrational fear that there was a devil in the house, and but it scared me a lot.
I guess with that, it does give you that visual representation, right? So you might have fear of the devil, but then to see the devil or see what it can do to a person, like to have that seared into your brain, into your memory, and that's the scary representation. Yeah. So maybe that's how it scared you. Can I say another film?
Of course.
Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I'm not interested. Okay.
Don't ever. I watched it because a friend recommended it or had been recommended it. I watched the second one actually, and I was so disgusted. And just for the people at home, it's a grimy, gross horror film, gory horror film where a person kidnap people one after the other, and he like surgically attaches them, and they pretty much they all die kind of situation. And it's just gross. It's just gross. And that made me go, there's a limit on films that I can watch. I don't know if it's profoundly affected me, but it's affected me where I'm like, that's my limit on horror, on gore. Like, I'm not going anywhere near Human Centipede.
Can I just ask you one more question?
Okay.
What was the real life impact for you though from watching that film?
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what was the impact? It really disgusted me. Like, it was. So I don't think it really it didn't change my life, I guess. I was just disgusted, and I guess that's what we're asking. What's changed your life? Like, have you made any big, profound changes from a film?
There are films that have the negative impact. There are also films that have a positive impact. Okay,
I like positive. All right.
I know I keep bringing this up, Legally Blonde, but in terms of impact, I found this interesting. So one of my friends was a lawyer and actually spoke to someone else who graduated law school, and they said that in most law schools, usually at the very beginning, there'll always be a lecturer who would ask the question, who's here because of Legally Blonde? Mm-hmm. And to me, that shows the impact of that film. I even read that law school applications from women had a spike the year that came out, which I think is really, really cool, really excellent. And it definitely showcased, definitely did showcase the study of law in a very glamorized way that made people go, ooh, that's something I want to be.
I know you don't, but people might make fun of that film, right? Or they might disregard it for the impact that it's had on people. And I think that's really interesting. Yeah. That a film like this that just shows representation of someone in an industry, how much it can really impact a lot of people to think, oh, I could actually do that. Like, I'm not too dumb, or
Yeah.
or that is actually an opportunity that I can go for.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just need to see that someone else has done it before you can believe that you could do it yourself, or even think that you could do it. Yeah. So.
And I think that was the impact. So the impact that the film had on me was understanding there's different ways of being smart. And I know everyone says, oh, but she won the case because she knew about hair care. Yeah, but she was smart enough to know that. Like, in a way, I think it challenges what we consider to be an intelligent person. Just because you're a lawyer doesn't make you intelligent, really. You might be book smart and you might be excellent academically, but that's one level of smart. There's different levels to it. When you're hardworking and when you can apply knowledge to things, when you can critically think, those are other elements of smart that, and that to me was a realization, because I guess on a personal level, academically, I was terrible in school. I just did not know how to apply knowledge from a textbook onto an exam, or really connect with the materials I was given to learn as a teenager. That doesn't mean that I was not smart, even though at the time I was told that I was not intelligent because I wasn't doing academically well. Asian culture thrown into it as well. Like,
I think a lot of people. Yeah.
But that film made me catch to go, hang on, no, there's different levels of smart, and you shouldn't just stick to this one group of what we define as intelligence. Another film that I was also thinking about more recently was Barbie, and I definitely think that film made us look at gender roles in society and challenge what gender roles are and what they've become. And I love the fact that a lot of straight men were pissed off by that film, because it really showed a mirror to what's happening in the world at the moment.
So how so has it challenged those roles? Like, give me an example.
That's a good question. I definitely think what the film did was it made fun of a lot of heteronormative situations. Yeah. So, as an example, there's a whole scene in there where the Barbies, to try and win men over, have this commentary around pretend to be dumb so that they can feel like they are smart. When you have an idea, pretend like it's theirs. And I've seen that at workplaces. Sometimes you need to do that sometimes with male leaders and stuff, that those egotistical people, mainly men, where it's almost like, oh, this is how you play the game to win them over. And I think no other film really had that mirror, as I said, that actually showed this is real. This is what a lot of women have to do to get the approval of men. Yeah. And I think that really pissed off a lot of people, because no one likes to be confronted with the truth sometimes, especially when the truth is really ugly. But it also allowed us to have the conversation, I'd say. Yeah. And let's not forget the amazing monologue by the America Ferrera, where she was there going, you can't be too big, you can't be too small, you can't be too loud, you can't be too soft. And like, I remember when that monologue finished, the first time I saw it, the entire cinema applauded, because it just hit a nerve to so many people, especially women, where they just went, this is a problem, team.
And it's not even that we don't already kind of know that, but I think just having that monologue play out how it did, it was cathartic for a lot of women. Yes. It was definitely for me as well. Like, I knew it, and maybe some people might say it's, I don't know, placating or something, but it was real. It was real. It's the truth. Yeah. Like, and maybe it seems cliche, but maybe it's cliche because it's real. It's the facts. Yeah. It's just, it is what it is, and sometimes we need to be reminded of that, even if it is cliche.
What I liked about it was, in Barbie world, the roles were reversed, and the women were in charge and the men weren't. And then, I guess that's the whole storyline, where, he goes to the real world and then he realizes that he's like the Barbie in the real world. And then, the women don't have much of a voice. And it
was good.
And I also want to say with that, so I'm part of a Facebook group for a podcast that I listen to. And when Barbie came out, and this group has predominantly, I would say, Gen X to boomer women. And I shared this article and I just asked the group, who here has had either sons or husbands or brothers watch Barbie and be pissed off. And a lot of them said, oh yeah, my son saw it, he came back angry, because it confronted them. And yeah, it caused a lot of, men got very emotional, let's just say. Sorry, men got very emotional.
Got emotional?
Yeah.
Never.
No, yeah. Well, another film, Promising Young Woman, I would say that was another film that added to the
we're not the only ones that think that that's really affected us. We've had conversations with people about this.
Yeah.
It really does hit a nerve. Like, it's so well made, and it's so upsetting because you kind of hope it's not going to play out the way it might be playing out, and when it does, it's just like a drop. It's that feeling of men letting you down for me. And oh gosh, I remember watching. I saw it with my sister, and we were just like devastated by it. And it also again, it was like, not, I guess, cathartic in a way, but I don't know. It was just telling the story realistically, and not too realistically, but just, it was still film, but it was good to see that story play out, that one that I know, and I know a lot of girls that know, and yeah, I don't know, it was just refreshing. Yeah, it's refreshing to see these stories, these things that I feel like are kind of brushed under the rug. They're not told so clearly like that. They're maybe brushed on a little bit, but it's just not, I don't know, it was just so refreshing.
So I guess, again, when we talk about real life implications, what films can sometimes do is surface a real problem that we're currently facing in society.
Yes.
And really shine a spotlight on it and go, here's a story, the rest is up to you to take what you want from it.
How has it impacted us? Even Barbie, like, how did it impact people? Really? Like, what was the lasting impact on it? I don't know. Maybe it's just that it challenges your thinking.
That's all it is. It's conversation. And
conversation.
No one's going to see that and go, oh, I'm going to be a feminist now, or I'm going to treat women better. I really don't think so. But I think if it has the capability to upset people or make people connect with it, which then leads to a conversation, I think that's an indication of a movie having an impact.
I have one.
Yeah.
It's a little less traumatic. Wild, which I think I probably brought up before, with another Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah. Excellent film.
Excellent film, written by Cheryl Strayed. The book is great too. But watching that film, I was in a place in life where I needed that breakout. I needed to break free of where I was at the moment, like in a very depressive state. And that's kind of what Cheryl does in the film.
Yeah.
She hikes the PCT, and that got me off the couch or out of my bed. I was like, I'm going to go do that. Like, that's what I need to do. I need to get back in nature, something which I always loved doing. I mean, I was a Cub Scout, and now I go on overnight hikes, solo overnight hikes. And because of that film, because I was like, oh, I want to be like these women and men and stuff, these people that go and just put themselves in nature and just disconnect. And I just think it makes you a stronger person, I think, and maybe gives you that space to ground yourself. And we always talk about this kind of stuff, but when you actually go and do it, sometimes you just need one of those films at that point in time where you're open to that messaging. And I think that was, for me, that film. And I wasn't the only one. They made a joke about it on Gilmore Girls, which I honestly didn't like, because I feel like it was really like putting women down for wanting to get out and try and do that. They made this joke that these women, read the book or watched the movie, and now they're doing the PCT. And it was really depressing, actually, because I was like, good on them. They should go out and do it. Okay, maybe some people aren't prepared. Cheryl Strayed wasn't prepared either, and then she figured it out. Like, that's part of the film, is that she goes off and her backpack's too heavy and her shoes are too small, and she grows from it. That's part of the challenge. It's overcoming these, physical ailments, and then also the inner ailments that you're going through. So I think, if you've got anything like that gets people or gets women out and taking control of the situation that they're in, especially if they're depressed, which is what she was and I was at the time, that I think it's only a good thing. So when you have these kind of films, and it's not just wild, there's what is it, About Schmidt was like another one, you know, where people just go out, and even when we talk about these other journey films that we've talked about before, like Eat, Pray, Love, I think that really affected women. I'm talking about women at the moment, right?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
But it makes them say, oh, I have agency over my life, and I'm going to go on an adventure, which was, you know, historically for men. Even now, there's a lot of places where women can't go. And even when I go on an overnight hike, everyone says, I'm scared that you're doing this. Why are you doing this alone? You know, like in my family, like, oh, I'm scared. You're doing that alone? It's dangerous. I'm like, well, it's also dangerous crossing a street.
Yeah,
but,
true.
These things to put people down, like to make them not go and do these things. Oh, it's scary. Women shouldn't be doing that. That's the underwriting like thing they're saying here. And I challenge them on that too. But so I think these type of films have profoundly affected me, where I'm like someone who wants adventure. So many people want to watch adventure. You go on any social media, on any dating app, and they all say adventure, holiday. You know, like that's one of their hobbies. You know. Yeah. Anyhow, that one was beautiful.
Wild. No, Wild's a great film. Another film that I read about that, I guess this was sort of before my time, but I do remember watching it as a kid, was the film Philadelphia.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I think he was really good in that, and that was the first film that showed AIDS in a mainstream setting, and it apparently opened that dialogue on the impact of AIDS in the gay community, and I thought, no, wow, that's really great. And I guess respect for Tom Hanks for taking on a role like that. He was at the top of his game at the time, and it would have been a risk actually for someone that famous to take on a role like that, because it could have gone pear-shaped, especially at the time.
He was a bit of, you know, that heartthrob as well at the time.
Yeah, and he played this person who was dying, and it was a devastating film, and Antonio Banderas as his lover and Denzel Washington as his lawyer. And I remember watching that as a kid, and I guess learning about AIDS through this film, because it was just groundbreaking. So I think that's another film I would say.
It was a huge impact on everyone that watched it, and it was a conversation. And you've just brushed on something there, culture. I think a lot of these films that I watched, and why I was so hungry for film in, you know, suburbia growing up, was it gives you insight into these different cultures. Yeah. You know, we all know about America. Yeah. I know about America more than I know about Australia. And you might call that propaganda in some ways. Yeah. But I think that's something that we get from film. I'm trying to think of, there's many different films, documentaries, obviously, do that. You know, Paris is Burning is another example if we want to talk about gay history. That's how I've learned about that.
The houses and the New York ball scene and
and then Philadelphia Story, definitely learn about AIDS and the impact and how people were segregated from their jobs, and it was just terrible. And then we've also got civil rights as well. Yeah. A lot of it I've learnt from America, but in Australia we had to watch Rabbit Proof Fence, for example, as part of the curriculum. Yes. So these kind of films where perhaps you haven't gone into those kind of remote areas, or you don't know much history about that part. You don't know much history about that part of Australia or Aboriginal history, which is, you know, pretty devastating. This is kind of how we learn, and it's a way to educate the kids to make it keep their attention and for them to learn.
It gives the topic exposure. That's all. Yeah, it gives
exactly.
the topic. Yeah.
And in saying that, a film which I think gave more exposure for me was The Nightingale. So have you seen
Yes.
The Nightingale? It's pretty rough, but it's about the history of Tasmania and how pretty brutal it was for everyone that lived there.
Yeah.
So that's a film that I say you should watch, but it is...
Yeah, no.
Maybe don't watch the first bit, yeah, because it's just so rough. But
it's horrifying.
It made me think about the history of Tasmania and understand that it was pretty much a complete genocide of the native people that lived there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about that, and I felt so stupid. And then I went on and watched other films about that and read up, obviously. But
so another thing that we're touching on is, in terms of real life impacts, it can be educational if you have the curiosity.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've got the curiosity.
Yeah.
I think also if you're open to it, because
Correct.
you know we've talked about a bunch of films here where they've got a strong message, and if you're not open to it, you're not going to
get it. Yeah.
You're not going to pay attention. I think that's what maybe films try and do as well, like sneak that into you to make you think without attacking you sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, really good topic.
Yes.
Thank you for having this conversation.
That's why we love film, I think.
Yeah.
Anything that challenges your beliefs is
a good thing.
Yeah.
We have a podcast that we do once a week
called Rewind Rethink.
And we also have an Instagram account that you could follow called Rewind Rethink. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching. My name is Sarge.
I'm Alice.
See ya.
Bye.